It's time for America's #1 new podcast, The Reality Check. These guys believe reality is the truth as they see it. The Reality Check. Now, here's your host, Mike Scully.
Well, hello, America. We're back in studio. And I'm joined today. We're going to get to our new guy. We got a little virgin in the old cockpit today with us. But as always, I'm joined by my man from Florida State University. The man, the myth, the one they call 0-7, C Nic.
Greetings. It's all about the change.
And we always refer to my guy that we found him wandering around Mobile, but last night I found him wandering around Fort Myers. Glad to see you're here today, my man. The trick.
Glad to be here, Scully.
And Yoda has wandered west for us this week into the F1 in Las Vegas. And you have heard us refer to our good friend Elliot many times in this show. And we have finally got the Hebrew Hammer in store with us today. What do you say, Elliot? Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome, Elliot.
Welcome.
Great to have you.
Welcome, sir.
And always disappointing the women around the world that he's no longer on camera. The owner of Shooter's Bar and Grill, the Shooter.
Sorry, ladies. It's a beautiful day, boys.
It's
God
a
bless
beautiful
America.
day.
Big happy.
Well, guys, we got a lot going. Yeah, the big happy. He's gone
BH.
from big angry to big happy.
So from Big A to BH.
Yeah, BH, the big happy.
Holy Johnny.
Yeah, I know. You're priceless. 0-7. That's my man.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we had last weekend was an interesting Saturday night. I think Netflix experiment with the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. How many of you guys watched it?
I did.
I did on Friday night. It was fantastic.
Was it Friday
If you
night?
watched it Saturday, it might not have been as good.
I lost my mind. Sorry.
It's okay. That's why we're here.
Excuse me.
We're supposed to bust each other's balls.
Friday night on the, well, I slept through it.
You chose
Anybody that
wisely.
watched it slip through it.
No kidding. The highlight was before the boxing match when Tyson finished his interview and walked away, and you saw
And he
two
shows two little butt cheeks.
butt cheeks that were saggy.
I did see the girls fight, and then I fell asleep,
That was actually good.
which was real good.
It was brutal.
But now social media has not taken kind to the two lads this week because there's a lot of
Here it
video.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is the best. Hey, thanks, man. Love you.
Gives them a little hug
Yeah.
and a kiss. And
Don't
then-
act like you're not impressed.
Oh, God. That's some pressed ham right there.
2 honey baked hams.
But there's a lot of video evidence that looks like the 58-year-old Mike Tyson actually took it easy on the young buck.
The first round was great,
What?
and then
There's a lot of times where it looks like he pulled punches and didn't throw it. And
Absolutely, he did.
there's a clench where Jake Paul clenches him, holds him tight, and he says something in his ear, and Tyson taps him on the shoulder like,
Gotcha.
okay, I got you. And then a couple minutes later, you watch and the punch doesn't get thrown, and he's got a clear shot to hit him right in the face and doesn't throw the punch.
Sell out for money.
You watched it, Elliot. Give us it.
I'm not going to call it fake because these were two gladiators still in the ring, still throwing punches. But a predetermined outcome, I would not have been shocked by. Jake Paul's the golden goose. He's the one that's, drawing all the eyeballs there. I think 60 million people logged in and watched this fight. 60 million people don't watch anything.
And to your point, it was more like a WWE event, but Tyson's gonna throw it because at 58 years old, he got paid $20 million.
And if Paul gets knocked out, there are no more fights like this. So you got to keep that golden goose going.
He's probably the greatest marketer of this era right now.
That's one of the notes I made, that him and his brother are just phenomenal marketers, phenomenal promoters. To get all of us to be talking about this now and going into the week, and everybody that I've been talking to has been talking about this fight.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, because you saw videos. I watched. These guys know one of my favorite people in the world is Dana White, and Dana White says, there's nobody going to hurt Mike Tyson. Jake Paul's not going to hurt Mike Tyson. He was shocked that he didn't throw more punches and actually hurt Jake Paul.
Here's my problem that I have with it. And Elliot actually alluded to it while we were watching it. If you want to equate it to the WWE, that it's scripted, that's fine. I mean, I was expecting a ladder to come out and Jake Paul to jump off of it and land on Tyson's back, probably about round 8. The problem is you don't gamble on WWE.
actually, yes, you can.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm dead serious.
Yeah, you
You
can.
can.
I don't know
you
who
can
does it.
Gamble on fake wrestling.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, no one with real money and any sense in the world is. I don't even know how they. God, it's fixed. You already know who's going to win. What bookie would take that bet?
Well,
You already know who's winning the round.
In your wisdom of that area and realm, where was the money Friday night? Was it on Jake Paul, or were people like me wishing that Tyson was going to knock him out?
No,
it was on Tyson.
The big money with the, as they call them, sharps. All the big money came in on Jake. All of us who saw him fight at 35 and 25 to 35 and wanted that Mike Tyson to whip his ass, all bet Tyson.
A big nostalgia play.
100%. That's why I put $50 on it. But
did you bet Tyson or did you bet Paul?
Of course I bet Tyson because it's what I wanted to see.
Right.
It wasn't what I necessarily thought was going to happen. But again, if it's going to be WWE, because I believe you, Elliot. I don't know how anyone could actually have a legitimate bet on that because you already know who's going to win. They already know.
Well, when they tell a good story, not to get into WWE and this, but when they tell a good story and you really don't know, you think you know until you don't.
No, agreed.
That's part of telling a good story.
And they had a good story going in.
But there's people, there's family that know. I find it hard to. You've this many said this many a time as far as conspiracy theories. That many people can't keep their mouth shut. So if you know going into it who's winning, and I've got a cousin who previous dogs owners, buddy. Hey man, you might want to bet this way. I can't even imagine that.
But you could say the same thing. What was a couple years ago during the Super Bowl? Somebody was outside the stadium and recorded the length of the practice of the
and you know what happened?
Anthem.
It got pulled.
But there's plenty of people in those arenas that see the practice and it doesn't leak out.
Agreed. I'm just saying that
what were the odds actually?
Tyson was almost 2-1. I think it was like plus 190. It was right at 2-1.
Okay.
Fraud. There has never been more fraudulent money thrown around than that freaking fraudulent garbage fight in the freaking Kamala Harris campaign. Same thing.
Big angry.
Wasted millions of dollars. Mike Tyson has ruined his legendary status over 16 minutes of throwing a freaking bullshit fight.
Absolutely not.
Yes, he has.
No way.
He's a sellout. He's a sellout, what he did.
Nobody's going to remember that.
He's 58 years old.
Hey, listen.
You get in the freaking
Ali would
ring.
never have done that.
No, he absolutely would have.
No, he wouldn't have.
If Ali could have.
Wait, Ali got in the ring with Gorilla Monsoon from the WWE.
Yeah.
He got in with Japanese Antonio Inoki or whatever his name was back in Japan. This stuff has happened forever. Muhammad Ali was at WrestleMania 1.
Hey, and Rocky fought Thunderlips.
Yes, he did.
Who invited him?
He did. And here's the
If you
thing.
don't want to be wrong, stop opening your mouth.
Where's Carl?
Carl.
Jake Paul.
We have done crowned the new Yoda, and he truly knows some facts.
I still don't know where you can bet on WWE, but I will believe you. But in anything I've seen, I've never seen it.
You know, boxing's been fixed for eons. Come on.
Well, you don't have a bad point there. But speaking of it, I think I saw Jake Paul's next two options to fight was Jimmy Carter and
Ellen DeGeneres.
and Pat McAfee.
Oh, interesting.
They're both jokes, but that was the that was the
but
rumor.
I'm saying
He's got to choose between the two, and apparently he's leaning Jimmy.
Jimmy's doing a lot of leaning these days.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
But he stayed alive to vote.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on, man. That looked just like the crypt keeper. Remember that thing that would sit up on Tales from the Crypt?
Exactly.
Holy good God. I just need to hear him cackle like Kamala and it would have it dead on.
That's kind of like how John describes you on a Sunday morning. All of a sudden, you know it's time for a happy hour. Awake from the dead.
There could be some truth to that.
There's a lot of truth.
Well, let's transition out of the fight between Paul and Tyson to Saturday night. I'll get my nights correct.
Yeah.
But the UFC back in Madison Square Garden, the return of the Avengers. I don't know if you guys saw that in the entry with Trump and Dana White and all the people behind him.
And the crowd going crazy.
The crowd went bananas.
Bonkers, if you will.
Yeah. And then obviously the guys playing the doing the Trump dance when they win, and then John Jones gives them the championship belt. But I want to talk about the John Jones fight first. I mean, how about that back kick?
How he didn't cave not just his ribs but his entire body in.
Oh,
I can't imagine. If the aliens ever come down and say, all right, give us your best fighter and we're putting up against ours, he's the first one out of the locker room.
Yeah.
Number one. No questions asked.
Well, watching him, he reminded me of the guy who played the Predator in the old Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Watch this back kick. Boom. And he's done. I mean, he can't defend himself, and they had to call it.
The official was a little late getting in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the baddest mama jamma on the planet right there.
I mean, the only loss in his career was by disqualification, and that rule was so bad that they have now changed it and eliminated it.
UFC.
That's awesome. But then you had the interaction between Trump and the guy who probably got him elected, Joe Rogan. They had a big old hug before. There's the Trump dance. It's in every sport. You had Charlie Hull doing it in the LPGA Tour when she was walking up 18.
Well, you had the NFL guys doing it.
After they fined Joey Bosa for wearing the MAGA hat on the little back shot, they fined him $11,000. And then the following week, after he got fined, he did the Trump dance.
Yes, he did.
And now the NFL's come out and said it's all right for you to do it.
Well, because the election's over and there was a mandate in the country. There are a lot of people, and I'll admit I'm one of them, that doesn't want to put their politics out there, doesn't want to come out and say, hey, these people are crazy. And as much as Trump's a lunatic, in my opinion, people are still voting for him. And now you saw the plurality of the country that did that. So now all of a sudden, you're not the wackadoodle. It's the rest of the fringe.
Majority rules.
Yeah, we don't want to get talking about Mika and Joe making a visit to Mar-a-Lago.
He's a friend of yours. So
that he is
a big friend. So I don't know where you're going with all that, but whatever.
Well, that was neat. Elon launched his rocket.
He did. Unfortunately, something landed in the water.
And this time they had to go back and go in and get it. It didn't land, as he said, into the cylinders. But I want to, before we get into the next segment, I want to talk a little bit. We'll lead into college football. But there's a huge slate of college games, which we're going to get into. But what do you guys think about Coach Prime heading to the NFL? There's all kinds of rumors.
Not going to happen.
I mean, if you're paying attention to the recruiting category,
they just got the quarterback
football,
to decommit from USC and says he's going to sign December 4th with Colorado.
He's talking top 5 recruiting class.
He's got his kickstand down
at Colorado.
He said he's got his kickstand.
It must be the money.
I can't imagine that Jerry Jones is going to let a character bigger than him in his building.
No way. I agree with you. There's not a chance.
Jerry Jones will be dead in 2 years.
It's Jerry's world. I mean, look at the last coaches. Bill Parcells was simply for the new stadium. That was it. That was the only reason why he had that coach, so he could get Dallas.
And he drove Bill Parcells nuts.
Oh yeah, and Parcells did it because he was in a little cash crunch at the time, but it worked out perfectly for each of them. But you're right, Elliot.
Jimmy Johnson was his college teammate at Arkansas.
And he drove Jimmy Johnson crazy.
Built this team and won championships.
In the 90s, yeah.
And then the egos
3 out of 4 years.
And then the egos clashed.
And the owner wins every time.
Well,
and Dallas hasn't been relevant since.
Agreed.
Yeah, the only thing I think Deion wants to control, he wants to control where Shedeur going to go. If he can, to what control he has.
No different than Archie Manning.
Well, with what he did with Eli.
Right.
Is he going to be the number 1 pick?
Yes.
Shooter says yes.
It all depends on who gets it and who needs a quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, and how it plays out, right.
It's still too early. He's going to be a top 5 without question, but I don't know if he'll be the number 1 overall. To your point, who needs a quarterback, and if someone trades up,
where does Colorado's Heisman go?
I think it goes to the guy that plays both ways.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but he's going to win it. Where is he going to go?
That's what I'm saying.
I think he goes top 5 for sure.
Yeah, he's a talent, man.
Well, they got a big game this week, which we'll get into when we get back from the break. But Elliot, great job. First segment. Attaboy.
Thank you, boys.
You didn't have the shit in your pants factor like Greeny did when he sat in. So I love you, Jeff Greenberg, but that's all right. We'll clean the diaper later. When we come back, we're going to transition as we just did into college football. Again, follow, like, and subscribe on The Reality Check. We want you to give a shout out to our good friend. It's his birthday today. Coastal Title. Big Bad Bobby Hamer.
Happy birthday, Bobby.
Happy birthday,
We love you, Bobby. I'm going to drum you Saturday. Ruda, you are the best. We love you, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Even I don't know what that was.
Jersey Shore.
That was a little snook.
Oh, well, there's a reason why I don't know what that was.
Jersey Shore.
I've never seen the show.
Play the Jeffersons.
my man Chunk. Welcome back, America. And again, I want to give one birthday shout out to my good friend Bobby Hamer. We love you, Bobby. Fine coastal title here in town. Have a great night tonight with Ruda, and we'll see you soon when I beat your ass on the golf course Saturday. All right, guys, let's get into.
Do I hear a wager?
When we?
Thank you.
How about,
Okay.
how about a little wager?
I will be there. I mean, we might only use one of my shots, but I will be in the cart.
Dismissed.
And I only get this much of the seat because you take out the rest. So I get at least a little bit of love.
Dismissed.
According to the big guy to my left, anybody who plays with him is irrelevant.
Yes.
He doesn't even need anybody there.
No.
Well, he is
So-
good. He is a golf
Yeah,
pro.
I
I mean,
mean-
for the love of Pete.
Very, very rarely. But Patrick and I, when you play together, he at least makes the putts.
This is true.
Oh my God.
And we're gonna bang on Yoda. I mean, what the hell?
I
Last
was
week we don't even have
darts.
a $5. Oh, you were great, but last week him and Eric don't even play for a $5 national. I mean, you can't scrap $5.
Wow. Yoda's part Hebrew. You do know that.
If I had feelings, you might have offended.
It's not an offense. It's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
It's the best partner you could ever have.
That was the most brutal 4 freaking hours I've had in the golf course in the last
Very frugal,
40
if you will.
years. Yeah, and I'm Easy E. His back was out. I've never seen a guy shank more balls in my life.
I love watching Carl scrutinize a tab. It's like a work of art. It looks like the most complex science project I've ever seen in my life. The way he looks at it and then tries to dissect it,
Mhm.
and then he's like brings in other scientists to study.
Well, his
it.
first question-
It is one of the wonders of my brother's world is put a tab in front of him. And it's like you're doing a science project.
Well, the first question is he wants to know who ordered tax because he didn't believe anyone ordered that. Who the hell ordered tax? And why is it $25?
Yep. What's the service charge? We don't pay that here.
We're not paying that here. That's my discretion.
All right,
And who tips on wine? I mean, come on. Who tips on wine?
It's a bottle of wine. You opened it. You shouldn't get 30% on that. Anyway,
there was a teammate of mine my rookie year with the Redskins. Got his first game check and wanted to know who the fuck is FICA.
yeah, who's Fika and why they taking on my money?
I will leave his name out. I don't even. I'm not even going to go there.
Good.
All right, let's get into college football. The Fighting Irish, as John always refers to him as God, are hosting number 19. Can you believe we're going to say this? Army.
Happy for Army.
So am I. It'd be phenomenal if they could pull off the upset. That would be. They needed the 4 horsemen to come back with them and play, but what are we thinking there? Any chance?
Is it a cadet school?
Yes,
Light Navy?
I know.
There you go. Notre Dame rolls. They can't beat Notre Dame. There is a reason why they play them every year because it's automatic given.
Hey, I think in honor of our guest, I think as the savant, we should give him all the first picks.
Oh, by all means. How rude of me.
Thank you for that honor. However, for those playing at home,
No.
need to understand.
No. We will talk about that at a later date. So you just bring it. You don't have to give any warning labels or anything like that. So let's hear what you got to say.
I will be rooting for Army. I root for Army every week of the football season, except when they play Navy. Because my buddy Navy Tom, who went and played at the Naval Academy, I root for that.
Okay.
But I will always be rooting for Army. I don't see how they win this game.
Okay.
Agreed.
I would love if they did. I mean, look, and to your point, how can they win? How did Notre Dame lose to Northern Illinois?
I agree. Anything's
Michael Turner is
possible.
not coming out of that locker room for Northern Illinois, running back 2006, almost 2,000 yards. Write that down.
I agree. But my point is they've had the Academy's numbers for around the last 25 years. Again, I was going back to college.
So what you're saying is they're due.
So yeah, they're more than due. I'm pretty sure since 1994, Notre Dame has not lost to one of them.
I don't disagree. I think
Notre Dame has lost to Navy at least 3 times.
Since 1994?
Yes.
Okay.
They went 43
I will
straight.
still call up on
They
it.
went 43 straight against Navy. I know that, but
Can you give me the year?
Ooh.
Erroneous.
I wasn't sure I'd be tested on my Navy.
No, I
question.
think to agree with all of you, we're all rooting for Army. I would love
100%. I'd love to see
I do
them.
say this is probably.
I'm not.
I'm rooting for Army. I'd love to see
Come
it.
on.
I think this is one of the best Army teams we've probably seen in the last 50 years, though.
Agreed. Just like it was one of the best Navy teams we've seen before they played Notre Dame.
Well, they got beat by
both
Notre
undefeated.
Dame, and then they lost, I think, the next two
They
straight
did. They were
weeks.
7-0.
Can
and
I
they
ask?
got
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
If you are Army's coach,
Mhm.
where you've taken this service academy to now 9-0, ranked, and in the conversation for the football playoff, do you stay there or do you go to a more promising
You gone.
job?
I think you leave as fast as you can get your bag. Like you can make it look like and I can't say that. You can pack as fast as you can go and get out of there.
Yeah, but also, I don't know. That's such a difficult
I think he
call
stays.
now.
I think he stays.
Because I listened today, I was listening to Paul Feinbaum on the way over to the studio, and one of his guests said that this is the first time in 3 generations, it's the lowest amount of midseason firings that we've seen in both college football and the NFL. And the reason being is because of the buyouts, and they're scared to death of what's coming with this rev share, that they're not doing it. I mean, I would have fired Brian Kelly's ass after he got pummeled by Florida in the swamp. But they're not doing it because there's a $74 million buyout? I mean,
What's
on
the line on that game? Anybody?
on the Army game,
Yeah.
It's 14.5.
it's 14.5.
By the way, last time Army beat Notre Dame was 1958.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Navy beat Notre Dame in 2016, snapping a 43-game winning streak.
So they only won once since
I mean,
1994.
that line should be like 21, 24.
Well, Army's
I mean,
undefeated,
14
and
and a half.
they've granted it's not the same competition, but they've handled teams. It's not like they've won.
Well, who's
not like
And the
BYU.
other thing to consider,
who's Notre Dame played? Let's
No
be
one.
realistic.
No one.
the other thing to realize, I know the days of Army only
All
pass
right,
the ball
I'm
once.
taking Army, baby.
The days of
I'm in
Army
on
only
Army.
pass the ball once a game is out. They're still
they're
throwing the
still-
ball 10, 15 times.
Right.
But they still run the ball a lot and therefore shrink the game down, fewer possessions.
Right.
So
9
9 years of therapy, I thought I was almost through that. Thanks.
All right. So
that's a good
we
point.
got 2 on the Irish, 1 on Army. Let's go to the next
Screw it,
one.
Army.
Old Miss, number 9, Old Miss got themselves back in the college football playoff talk a couple weeks ago with beating Georgia. Now goes to the Swamp to play the Gators. Is it a trap? Is it a trap game for Florida?
I will say this. I had a nice wager with our good friend over here, Big Shoots.
Yep.
I said there was no chance the Gators were going to win more than 4 games, and I'm a Gator alum, went there for grad school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked. This team has not quit.
What was that wager?
$1. Always with me, $1. The team has not quit. They came out and pummeled LSU last week with quarterbacks being injured, a lot of players getting injured. This team still fights.
Mhm.
I was fully prepared for this coach to be fired by this point in the season.
They're on
Even
the
fired at the
upswing.
end.
They're on the upswing for sure.
They absolutely are.
What are they doing, John?
And then they're going to get killed by one.
Ascending.
Although the Wisconsin transfer was doing a great job, the best thing that happened to that program was that
He got hurt.
Lagway is coming into his own, and they are ascending. And I tell you what, this game this weekend, Ole Miss is playing in the Swamp. So
Ole Miss has it all to play for. They are going to put it on early and often.
Ole Miss is good. They're the better. They on paper they're a better team. Whatever, they're a better team. However, they are playing a team that is got a lot of mojo right now, and they're playing at home.
And 1 win from bowl eligibility.
Yes.
They'll get that against Florida State next week because they're going to get beat by 30
Who would have
this week.
said that about the Gators at the beginning of the year? Nobody.
Certainly not me.
Nobody.
Well, I believe I said if they went 6-6, it would be a tremendous coaching job by Billy.
I don't believe you ever said anything nice about Billy Napier.
Well, that's because you don't know much. But the fact of the matter is, it's on record and recorded that if they went 6-6, he would have had a great year.
So who do you like this
And that
week?
is
Ole
true.
Miss or
Ole Miss wins. I think Florida covers. It's their week off. They're on 1 week, off 1 week, on 1 week, off 1 week.
I was just going to say the same.
So it's their off week. I don't think they win the game, but I think they have a legitimate shot at covering.
okay, Johnny? Did you take Ole Miss, Elliot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sip. Big.
So I'm taking the Gators with the points, not to win outright.
Wow. If Elliot's taking sip, I'm going Gators.
I'm going Gators.
You're not wrong.
Well, my natty pick, you boys know that. I'm on the record with Ole Miss, so I'm riding hard with my my boy Lane Kiffin. I think they're going to thump the Gators. All right, we've got this is a huge Big 12 matchup. Obviously, BYU blew it last week and lost at Kansas.
What did I tell you?
You did. Actually, you got that
did.
one right.
You guys say I'm 0-7.
You were 0-7
but
2
I'm
weeks ago.
telling you, I've been on fire. I've been picking Miami Dolphins. I've been like
The Washington Redskins for Thursday Night Football. He picked that one.
One game, and I was
Well,
very
you
confident.
like to leave those one games out. I just had to remind
Even a
you.
blind squirrel finds a nut.
Well, BYU's
But I am
playing.
ascending. baby.
You're ascending, and so is the Arizona State Sun Devils. And they're number 21 ranked ASU. BYU goes into Tempe to play the Sun Devils. This one, the winner of this game gets into the Big 12 championship. Colorado has to hold serve, which we'll get into in a second. In Kansas City, they're playing at Arrowhead against Kansas. Who do we like? BYU bounce back, or you like
the
ASU?
chosen quarterback of the chosen people, Jake Retzlaff,
The BYU?
the BYU.
All right. Elliot's on BYU.
Yeah.
They have not played well the last couple weeks.
No, they haven't. And they've been on borrowed time, and they finally got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They didn't have the ability to come back at the last second. And I really liked them. So just out of pure spite, I'm going the other way. I hope they lose by 50.
I'm dead sexy.
You're going with ASU.
I'm going with ASU.
Johnny?
ASU. Yep.
Mine is just a FU.
When a really good team starts to lose, the wheels fall off. There's something that sparkle. I don't know what it is. It's something in the huddle, something in the locker room. Your team had it, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just this is confidence is high. The Hebrew Mauler is found out, and they figured out a way to play him. So I think that ASU is going to thump them.
Okay. Let's go. Let's stay right in that Big 12 era. Colorado goes into Kansas City, like I said, to play Kansas. They're playing at a neutral site. It's Arrowhead, which is only 45 minutes from Kansas, but it is a neutral site. Colorado, you like Prime?
He tries every week to see how high the scoreboard runs. Every week against any team. Doesn't matter who, where, who, doesn't matter. They're looking to put up points early and often.
All right. I like Colorado. Tricker?
Kansas is coming off a high. They're going to get thumped. I like Colorado just because they just had a big win over undefeated BYU. You know, they flounder.
BYU is not a big win.
When you're 9-0, it's a big win.
I get you. But,
So I guess Notre Dame, if they beat Army, that's not a big win because they're 9-0.
so
Asking
anyway.
for a friend.
Elliot kind of tipped me over to the scales. I think Kansas beats Colorado in a tight game, and you want to play the over.
Because you're
That's
going
silly.
opposite him.
Yeah.
That's just silly.
Because he picked.
Over.
Okay.
Well, you're hearing all of the right things out of Boulder. Last week, they won by what, 30 points or 20-some points?
And started slow. And
started
then
slow.
poured it on.
But said that, we didn't play good. We got to play better. We got to clean things up. Those are the type of things you want to hear from your team that are starting to play good football.
Mm-hmm.
And they're thumping the teams they should. They beat Kansas by 30 points.
I think they thump them.
All right, we're going to go to the Big Ten. We got 2 Big Ten games, or actually 3 Big Ten games to go real quick as so before we get to Patrick's power picks. The 25th ranked Fighting Illini play the State College of New Jersey, otherwise known as Rutgers. One of Elliot's alma maters.
Nope. Not
your
one
brothers.
of mine. Both my brothers went to Rutgers. I'm a New Jersey boy.
You're a Maryland, Florida boy.
Went to Maryland undergrad, Florida for grad school. Both my brothers went to Rutgers. Big Rutgers supporter. Shiano making a big difference there. Second
Huge.
time there. Bowl eligible already for them. Still growing as a program. I think they are a problem running the ball for just about any team. They're a physical team. I think it'll be a close game, but I still got to pick the boys, pick the Scarlet Knights.
Okay. I'm scared to death of this game right now because I think we can get to 9-3 if we win this because we should thump Northwestern. But
Rutgers became bowl eligible last week by beating Maryland. I know that was tough for you, bud. Meaning that they played each other. I don't. I think Illinois wins the game.
Yep. Concur.
Okay. Well, I'm rooting for him. You know that. The other one, I think this is a huge trap game. I said they're going to blow one at some point because the Fighting Sandusky's will find a way to fuck it up.
No pun intended.
But yeah. But Penn State's going up to Minnesota. I'm not a big Minnesota coach fan. That row the boat stuff just doesn't do it for me. But I think this is a huge trap game for Penn State.
See, I'm opposite of what you said. Ski
Okay.
Uma, PJ Fleck, loved following his career. Big believer in him as a coach. Minnesota didn't have a football program ever. So
That's not true. The TV show Coach was
Craig T. Nelson.
That was
did a
Minnesota
great
State.
job.
That was Minnesota State, wasn't he?
Craig
and
T.
it was a
Nelson.
TV show.
Craig T. Nelson. was
So
a good
for them
coach.
to already bowl eligible, building this culture that is there does take time. But as my good friend from Mobile likes to say, is this a team from Ohio State or Michigan?
No.
Therefore, Penn State will not lose.
Okay. I like that. I know where you're at.
Sorry to steal your thunder.
No,
there,
it's
big guy.
okay. No, I just like that you listen. That's awesome. And he's correct. It's not Ohio State. It's not Michigan. And yeah, they cover the 11. They're actually going to be one of my power picks.
Okay. Johnny?
Yeah, Penn State needs some style points, right?
Agreed.
So, yep.
All right. Well, we'll finish the picks before we get to Patrick's power picks with the game of the day. And it's hard for me to say this because they've always been awful. But you've got the number 4th ranked Indiana Hoosiers going into Buckeye Land to play the number 2 Buckeyes into the horseshoe.
Can I ask a professional question for you?
Yes.
Ohio State just lost their center to a torn Achilles yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever it is.
That's a huge loss.
How difficult is it for somebody to step in the offensive line who the center normally makes line calls, play calls?
You're
center
usually
exchange.
triggering the line calls for coverages. You're helping your quarterback. That's a huge loss.
I see that losing a couple points,
Mhm.
bringing the game closer, but I don't know that it's enough to flip it in Indiana's favor. Closer than you think.
Well, Trick, I'll let you. I'll voice my opinion.
Surely Ohio State has got a decent kid to come in there.
Yeah, but
Please
you're
don't
talking
call me
about
Shirley.
Surely you're yes, thank you. You're talking about continuity, shoot, and that continuity this time, this late in the game, especially this week, this big game, that's hard. That's difficult. What do you think, Trickster?
Ohio State loses, or they still in the national championship mix?
Yes.
Okay. Indiana loses, or they still in the national championship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They are 95% likely with a loss to still be in
To still be in the top
Agreed, because
12.
they'll have one loss. Agreed. So I don't think this game is do or die for either one of them. Obviously, you want to win. If you're Indiana, you want to have a perfect season. If you're Ohio State, you want to make a explanation point that you robbed them of their perfect season, because I don't think they play anyone else.
Well, but here's why this is critical. The winner of this game is likely going to see Oregon in the Big Ten title game,
right.
which you then win that game, you're getting a bye.
Or you get a few more players hurt and it's another game under your belt that you don't necessarily have to play. You're 100% correct, but I guess no one wants to lose the game by any means. You go out there to win. You play to win the game. But it's not horrible if you lose. So I'm going with Indiana.
Well, let me put okay.
But which
Well,
team gets hurt more by a loss?
Well, let me pose
Ohio
this
State.
question. If Indiana wins, they get in and they'll play Oregon.
Right.
Right?
Well, everybody still has to win their game next week, but it
Okay.
is more likely than not.
But if Ohio State wins and then loses next week to Michigan, or Ohio State wins,
They win the tiebreaker over a head-to-head with Penn State and Indiana.
Well, but that would be Ohio State's second loss if they lose to Michigan, where Indiana will only
Oh,
have
good
one.
point. Yes.
Yeah.
And so would
And
Penn State.
would only have one.
And Penn State and Indiana didn't play.
no. So it's interesting. There's some.
It is. Give me the points.
You like
I
Indiana
think
the
I
points?
think they're for real. I like the points. I think Ohio State losing their center. Great analysis there. Give me the points.
Okay.
Give me the points unless there is some, sort of chartist out there that's saying if we lose this game, we don't have to play this team. So then we play in this bracket and we have a better chance of playing there. But I think I'm taking the points because I don't have enough smarts to figure it out.
Well, I
how
want
far down
I want
the line.
Indiana to win the game and then Ohio State to beat Michigan and then Ohio State play Penn State in the first round.
Right, that would be nice. But
Because that's going to be a first round exit for Penn State if that happens.
but nobody wants to play Oregon, right? Let's
Well, and
think
that's the
about
thing. They flew all the way. Ohio State flew all the way out there, and if they had 2 more seconds on the clock, they win the game. If, ands, and buts, I understand that, but it was just a poor decision on the quarterback not to get down
he gets
sooner.
down, right.
And because they had a timeout, and he calls it 1 second left. Ohio State's undefeated, so they've got a good team going into it. I mean, it's not like they're a scrub, I guess is my point. And maybe no one wants to play Oregon, but I don't think Oregon's as
to
tough
your
as everyone
point,
thinks they are.
Has Indiana played anybody with that
No.
kind of caliber?
No one.
So then the reality is, on paper, Ohio State should thump
Yeah.
You have to,
Indiana.
and the one thing too is what you've seen through the years of these playoffs and the BCS and all that. Oregon's great in Autzen. They don't travel real well in the big games, semifinal games when they got to play in a neutral site.
Right.
So they've never won one of those large games like that. So we'll have to wait and see how that shakes out. Before we get into your power picks, the one question I have, I was going through, picking the games for us to talk about, and where have some of our most historic programs gone? Because you got USC playing UCLA this week, and it's
Nothing.
It's nothing. And for the first time, you've got Alabama going into Norman to play the Sooners. Man, that's not even being talked about. Maybe a little bit because Alabama's still inside the playoff window.
It's about to be talked about when my segment comes up.
Okay.
No, you're right. It's the portal. They've all fallen to the wayside.
It's just ruined this whole,
They've lost coaches too.
Well, I mean, Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma, went to USC, clearly hasn't done much at either place. The USC,
he's in jeopardy of getting fired.
UCLA's coach, when you saw him in his introductory Big Ten press conference, said, UCLA, it's a great school. And then crickets.
Yeah,
Didn't have another word after that. Chip Kelly left there as a head coach, and now he likely would have gotten fired to be Ohio State's offensive coordinator.
Right.
Who leaves as a head coach from a power conference school to be an offensive coordinator?
someone that knows is about to get fired.
Well, there's your playoff bracket as of Tuesday night. Boys, can you put that back up?
Didn't Lincoln Riley get murdered by a illegal immigrant?
That's Lakin Riley, dumbass.
One's a dude, one's a chick.
Wake up.
I will say this about the bracket. You can tear that bracket up. Doesn't matter what they show this Tuesday, next Tuesday, or any other Tuesday.
Sorry.
Conference championship games. Do you want to be in a conference championship game at this point?
No, I don't think so.
That was the point I was making. I mean, it's almost a win if you lose. I mean, between the Indiana Ohio State game, it is a lemons in the lemonade. It is a win if you lose the game.
So we'll wait and see. All right, Patrick, anything else there, Mr. Biden? Since you called him, that's what he called her too when he gave his State of the Union speech, dumbass. All right, give me your power picks.
You're the new Big Angry.
Yes.
Thank you.
You've now been dubbed Big Angry.
Thank you.
You're damn right.
Peter's happy. He's a
I'm big
BBA.
happy.
Big angry.
Easy over there, big sucker on the board.
Alabama minus the 11, I believe, or is it 14? I think it's 14 against Oklahoma. First one. Penn State minus the 11 and Colorado minus the 3.
So three in the college. You going 3 in the pros this week, or are you just going 2?
Going 3.
So 3 and 3.
Well, I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Yes. So those are the 3. I like Bama against Oklahoma. I like Colorado, and I like Penn State.
Okay. All right. There's our college football segment. Great job, guys. When we come back, we'll transition into the National Football League. As always, we ask you to please follow, like, and subscribe on all of our social media. A big shout out to my friend Peter Albert at Coastal Vacation Properties down in Fort Myers Beach. It's open, it's cooking, and the weather's beautiful. Come see us. We'll be back in just a minute.
Shooter, can you grab me a beer?
My 3 sons.
Grab my nuts.
Well, welcome back. We transition into the National Football League. Tonight's game. What do you think about tonight, guys? The Steelers going into Cleveland to play the Browns. Is Jameis starting a quarterback?
He is.
Oh, that's a 4-pick game then for the Steelers defense.
Yeah, and maybe 3 bombs given up.
Yeah, well, he's 30 for 30. That's his.
You would almost think he played baseball.
Yeah, he did at one point, actually. What do you think, Elliot? Give us your feeling on the Steelers and the Browns.
The mistake by the lake. Is there a single thing that Cleveland can do properly as a franchise?
Lose.
No.
Well, yep, that is one. That is about it.
Gotcha.
That is about it.
You know, and their greatest claim to fame, you know, the movie Major League and the Indians and all that, that wasn't even filmed in
No, it was in
Cleveland.
Milwaukee.
It was
filmed
in Milwaukee. Right. Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Yes.
Yes. You went
And that old Milwaukee stadium was a shithole, too.
Ugh.
Ugh. Makes Wrigley Field look like Shangri-La.
But
So what do you
those
think?
Midwestern people are so nice.
Yeah.
No, Pittsburgh. This is their win last week over Baltimore allows them to control their destiny.
Are they 8-2 now?
I have to look at that. I'm not sure.
But I'm almost certain they're in control of that division.
Thank you,
So
They're
you
8-2?
still have
Wow.
you still have Kansas City leading for home field advantage.
Right.
But you know
But they play each other coming up on, isn't it Thanksgiving? Isn't that who the Steelers and the Chiefs play?
It's not Thanksgiving yet. I don't know.
and Mike
Usually
Tomlin, all he does is win.
Dolphins, Packers, Bears, Lions, Giants, Cowboys, Thanksgiving.
Well, but the rest of the weekend, shoot.
It's that.
Yeah,
I think it's
next
Thanksgiving
week.
weekend.
Yeah,
I think is the Steelers and the Chiefs.
Friday, 29th, Raiders, Chiefs.
the
Okay.
Raiders.
Sunday, the full lineup.
All right, so
who does the Steelers play next week? Shoot.
Well, it's not Kansas City.
Steelers
Obviously.
got the Bengals.
Oh, the Bungles.
Yep.
Oh, so they're going right 3 conference
Maybe
games
it's just
in
an
a row.
Ohio thing because the Bungles can't seem to win, even though they play good ball. Cleveland can't win for shit. I mean,
OH.
I think it's decisions of franchises. I mean, Cincinnati doesn't have the money to be able to really put into their franchise. When you look at some of these teams that are putting huge signing teams to huge money, you got to put that money in escrow. So if your owner, your franchise doesn't have a lot of money or they don't manage their money properly, you can't do it. What was Cleveland thinking? Guaranteeing every dollar for Deshaun Watson's contract? It just poorly executed and poorly run
Agreed.
franchise.
Well, let me give you one little simple thing, and you'd think this is this a big a deal, but it tells you how cheap the Bengals are because they didn't buy the land. They have to literally walk out of the building and walk across a 4-lane road to get to their practice field. I mean, it's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. They don't spend any money on their practice facility.
Players have to buy their own Cokes.
they don't.
Yeah, that's true too.
They don't spend any money on players. I think I heard a stat. Only 3 times since inception have they actually made a trade on the trade deadline day. 3 times. That is insane.
Yeah.
So they just don't spend money. To your point, maybe they mismanage it. Maybe they don't have enough. But if you're an NFL team owner, I find it hard to believe you don't have cash flow
Yeah.
from TV rights alone. I find that hard. But
All right, Elliot's on the Berg. How about you?
I am going to go with the Browns with the 3.5. I think Pittsburgh wins because, to your point, Cleveland's only good at losing. But they always play them tough. The weather's supposed to be crappy. I was watching it earlier, and it's snow flurries that are coming down.
They're walking across a 4-lane highway. You have to have a security guard let them as they walk.
That's funny. Good night.
So there's been an interesting gambling stat through most of this year and last year. Pittsburgh to lose the first half but win the game pays out 10-1, 12-1, something like that usually, and I think they've done it 3 or 4 times already this year.
So might be
You
a
could
good
very
one
easily
tonight.
see that again tonight.
I think the weather's a factor. It's already snow flurries are coming down. Is it going to be mounds of snow? No, but it's going to be colder and it's going to be snowing. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, and I think Pittsburgh wins it on a last minute field goal.
I agree. I think it's going to be a battle. I lived in Pittsburgh for a 1.5 years, and one thing I know is Pittsburgh Steeler fans and Browns fans, they hate each other and they hate each other's franchises, and they are going to do everything they can to not lose.
Agreed.
John?
Plus, Bob Hamer likes Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And it's his birthday.
Yeah.
So
Any great words of wisdom?
I tell you, I was originally on
Ridlin?
of course, and many other things. But yeah, anyway,
Oh, that was good.
I was on the Browns originally, but
Please regard me.
I think what I think is going to happen is Pittsburgh's going to get in there, get the job done, and then they lose to the Bengals. So I'm scripting this out, and that's my next 2 weeks. So if I'm wrong, then just don't
Land the plane.
then don't take the Bengals the next week. And so there you go. So yeah, I'm going to go with.
So you're going Steelers tonight, Bengals next week.
Yeah, I think the line's down to 3 now. So,
I think they are the Cinderella team of the NFL season this year.
I believe it's 3.5.
Pittsburgh?
Still.
Yes, Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Denver and Washington shoot. I mean, they're both doing really well.
Pittsburgh was not supposed to do anything this year.
We didn't even talk about Washington.
That's true, but I think you're right. You're right.
Arizona.
Both teams.
All right. Well,
I
let's
think both teams.
Arizona's the top of their division by 2
By
games.
1 game.
Whatever.
Well,
So,
let's transition to the next one because the 49ers go into Green Bay to talk about Arizona. If Green Bay wins this week, is possibly San Francisco done?
Well, no, because they're all 5-5, 3 of them, and then you have
that's-
Arizona that's 6-4.
But it sets up next week where they play Arizona and San Francisco play next week head to head next week.
Right, which is fine, but I mean, the Niners still control their destiny, I think.
Brock Purdy's not 100% healthy.
Their whole team hasn't been healthy.
No doubt.
True.
But
But they've always had him. But he's
yeah,
not
but
now.
what you're seeing there, and I believe what's the biggest problem with them, they've had injuries on offense, and McCaffrey hasn't played, but they don't have the defensive front that they've had the last couple years. I know they got Bosa; he's incredible, but they lost a couple pieces in that front line, and they're not as dominant up front as they've been.
Agreed.
well, and the
which is-
consistency on offense. How do you get a rhythm going like what you see in Detroit or some of the other teams that are putting up points? I mean, just can't get the rhythm going. So Purdy's got to reinvent every single week, and that's tough to do.
Yeah.
Well, and that to the point, how many times has San Francisco lost in the fourth quarter? Had the lead and lost
and
it
blown it.
because their defense is on the field so damn much. They finally wore out.
It's the reverse Lindy of Pittsburgh.
Yes, the Mongolian flex.
Mongolian.
All right,
reverse.
Elliot, do
As you love to say on the golf
the
course.
Mongolian reversal.
When you take what everybody just said, where
Triple Indy?
Bosa was grabbing at his hip during the game last
I don't
week.
think he's going to play this week.
That's going to be tough. They've had so many injuries. McCaffrey just starting to come back. They're just a cursed team this year, and the Packers, look how they, pulled that out last second on the blocked field goal. Maybe it is the Packers' year, not necessarily to win it all, but sometimes luck of the Irish is with you. Minnesota went 11-0 in one-score games 2 years ago. That's a rarity to occur.
Right.
Sometimes teams have the mojo, sometimes teams don't. I think this is a year that the 49ers don't and the Pack do.
And I can tell you that the 49ers are not going to like going into 38-degree and drizzle rain Lambeau. I promise you.
Ooh, warm weather.
I just hope that Love can stay on
Yeah,
the
it's
field.
true.
That's all I care about. If he stays on the field, I think Green Bay wins. If he gets hurt, this is the week he gets hurt because he usually gets hurt, then goes 2, then he gets hurt, and then he goes 2, and he gets hurt. So this is one of the ones he gets hurt on. I hope he doesn't.
It's like
I really hope he doesn't.
it's a really tough relationship, like this love relationship
it is
that I have. It's like
It's tough.
know,
When he's on the field,
I'm
they
the wrong
win.
one to talk about love.
If he pulls what I think he
I
will.
love you one week, I hate you next
Yeah.
week. I love you the next
I
week.
love hate relationship. if you will.
Very showing up on time, take me out to dinner, and next time stand me up. I mean, this kid. It's I don't know.
If
Something-
Love can
my
complete the
dating life?
game,
Something's going on in Packerland.
if
man.
Love can complete the game, I think they win.
So you taking the 49ers, John?
No, I'm taking the Pack.
Oh, boy.
So all 3 on the Pack. Shooters cursed. All right. So you play out of that what we talked about if San Francisco loses in Lambeau, but you got this week now you've got the Cardinals playing the Seahawks, going up to play the Sea Chickens.
Sea
Patrick.
Chickens.
I know
There
your
you go.
favorite.
Yep.
But they go up and win that. Now you're given what Seattle will have 5 losses, I believe.
No, Seattle
already have
4.
five.
Yeah, it'll be 5 and 6, and they'll be 7 and 4.
Yeah.
Arizona will be 7.
There's a little separation that's starting to occur.
Agreed. Yeah, and then you have the Rams they have a pretty tough game.
And they're
Eagles Sunday night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which they are not favored in. I think the Eagles win. So again, in theory, they could all go to 5-6, and Arizona could go to 7-4.
And there's some separate start.
And now you have the separation. Yeah.
All right. Who do you like?
I'll tell you that tight end for the Cardinals, Trey McBride, been playing real well.
Still doesn't have a receiving touchdown though.
James Conner runs hard. Jonathan Gannon came out of the Eagles.
Yeah.
Second year, really building a culture that's there. Like I said, Conner running hard. Harrison hasn't needed to be in the focus and has been able to develop as a wide receiver, even though he's the number 4 pick in certain people's rookie of the year around here.
And
Sleeper pick.
Sleeper pick.
Sorry. No, I've been impressed with, again, as a franchise that normally finds a way to implode.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Cardinals are building something serious out there.
I like that.
They're coming off a bye. They got a week to rest up. I mean, you know how important the buys were. I mean, when you came back, did you feel rejuvenated, or were you like, I don't really want to come back?
Unfortunately, Trek, I'm so freaking old. We didn't have buys back then.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. We played 16 straight.
Iron Man ball. Like real men.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're coming off a bye. I think it certainly doesn't hurt. They've had 2 weeks to game plan. So I'm going with the Cardinal.
Okay. John.
Kiss of death. If you're going to pick a quarterback, would you go with Murray or Geno?
Murray. That's not even close.
So I'm a quarterback guy.
Geno's been doing pretty damn good.
He has. He's having a really good season. No disrespect, but put him head to head.
Not to speak ill of those that are not in the room, but Yoda's team, the Jets, at one point had Geno Smith.
Yes.
Could have been their quarterback. At one point had Sam Darnold. Who look what he's been doing in Minnesota. I think, again, poorly run franchise.
So you're saying Aaron Rodgers is going to go somewhere next year and play great again?
Yeah, the retirement home to play flag football for the Olympics.
So it's kind of like some of my breakup. It's not you, it's me. Okay.
You hit the nail on the head on that one, John.
John, you've between the conversation of love and breakup and dating and everything else, I think you've come way too close to my personal life.
Where am I going today? What kind of mood am I in?
I don't know, but we're trying to figure that out.
Very melancholy-ish.
Did
you take an edible on the way over?
No, I did not. I was up at 5 this morning. 2 bike rides.
Yeah,
moving furniture.
Move some furniture for the shoot.
Moving furniture.
All right. Well, before we get to Patrick's power picks, the last game we have on the slate is the Harbaugh Bowl. Yeah, little Ravens Chargers.
Whether you like him or not, Jim Harbaugh just wins.
Well, I think both boys do.
Certainly right. But would you have expected this in the very first year for the Chargers, where they've lost their 2 wide receivers, best 2 wide receivers left, free agency, the best running back left?
I think the leading wide receiver in franchise history left.
I mean, you figured he was going in there with, other than having a quarterback, the cupboard was bare. They're doing this with Ladd McConkey as a rookie wide receiver. They
got rid of Eckler.
I was going to say Eckler's gone.
I mean, to be where they are this soon, the guy knows how to win. Personality of, nobody likes personality.
It is,
but he can win.
But it's amazing what wins will do to offset that personality, to your point.
And the other part, Baltimore.
Winning cures everything, Patrick.
How many games has Baltimore?
Or winning hides everything.
Isn't that 11 and a point? It's an 11-point game, right?
No, it's not that big.
What game?
Baltimore and
the Chargers, Baltimore.
No,
it's 4, isn't it?
But how many games has Baltimore had a double-digit lead and then given them up?
Yeah,
it's 3.
They've had a lot of. They've had a handful of those games
3.
where they've had double-digit leads to turn around and lose it.
This is Baltimore's bounce back game. Totally.
Well, they've needed a bounce back a few times.
Baltimore's bounce back game. Is that what I should say?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Who do you like, Elliot?
Did they need a bounce back game? They lost one game. I think they've only lost 4 all year.
Well, they won. They lost last week.
They did to Pittsburgh,
right? So they and
they bounced back after they lost to the Browns.
Pittsburgh wins tonight, you cannot keep losing ground.
Thank you. So, do you concur?
I still say the Chargers, I think, are going to win. But they need it.
It was just your use of bounce back. As in, like, they have been struggling this whole year.
Concurred.
Yeah, you should have concurred. Do you concur?
Do you concur?
Oh, catch me if you can.
Johnny's like, please regard me.
I don't like your attitude right now.
Okay, melancholy.
I've got a turtle head poking out.
And it's eating cotton. Baltimore wins.
Why?
Because they're the better team. That's why a bounce
tell.
back game is funny to me, because of the fact that it's not bouncing back. It's just showing up and playing. They barely lost to Pittsburgh. It's not like they got blown out. I don't disagree with your pick. I just disagree with your adjectives of bouncing back. That's all.
I don't like you disagreeing with my adjectives.
Well, that's
They're
okay.
my adjectives.
Well, we're not talking about pronouns.
English, motherfucker, do you
speak it?
Whatever.
Baltimore wins. They cover. John?
I already said it.
Baltimore. Bounce back game. That's right.
All right. So all three of around Baltimore tonight.
No, he went.
I had the Chargers.
Oh, okay. All right.
That makes me feel so much better.
The once known as San Diego Chargers.
Yes. Always be
See
known
what
as
I
the
did there?
San Diego Chargers.
I know. I just have certain friends that when I say San Diego, they quickly point out that they're the LA now.
How pissed are people in San Diego right now?
They're in 85 degrees and perfect sunshine.
Yeah.
I don't think they're pissed at anything.
And housing's through the roof. I think they're good.
Shooter, they could give two shits. That's why they moved.
Yep.
All right. Give us your 3 power picks in the National Football League. You went 3-3 this week.
No, I went 4-3.
No, I'm saying you got 3-3.
Oh, yes, correct.
Look at my sexy body.
Detroit -7. I think they're unstoppable right now. I think they're going to continue the
They
winning
got the
streak.
Panthers, right?
No, that's Kansas City.
Kansas City's got the Panthers.
They have, I want to say the Bears, if I'm not mistaken. Kansas City plays Carolina.
How could you gamble on a team where you don't even know who they're playing?
Well, because when I looked at it, I knew who they were playing, but I can't remember it right now. And I don't have notes in front of me. I'm free balling, if you will.
Okay. All right. Well,
You can't name a head coach. You can't name a head coach, and you're gonna.
They play
that
the
really
Colts.
gives me
The
a
Colts.
lot
There you go.
of confidence.
They play the Colts. There you go. So there you go, Johnny. They play the Colts. Do you still like the pick now? -7 at Indianapolis.
No, I like the Colts.
Good. We'll do a $2 bet on it then.
Sure.
Done.
Done.
Okay. I like Kansas City, who plays
Carolina.
-10.5. And I like Tampa Bay, who plays the Bears at -6. I knew the Bears were in there somewhere. So yes, so those are the 3 that I like. Tampa Bay -6, KC -10.5, and Detroit -7.
Okay. There we go.
Yep. And they're all 1:00 games. So if you do well on them, or I do well, and you follow my pick for entertainment purposes only, you have money, cash flow to double down on the afternoon games.
Did you 3-tease those down 9 points? And
Teases you to win, Elliot. It never wins unless you're Johnny, and he's the only one I've seen to win.
Did the Colts
$1
did the Colts win last
million.
week? They did, right?
No,
Who'd they play?
The Colts?
yeah.
Didn't they win last week?
I'm having a brain fart. I can't
Yeah,
remember who
I
they
can't think.
played.
Shooter, come on, big guy.
Colts beat the Jets by 1 point.
The
Yes.
Jets.
Oh, and they were down the whole game.
And I know, yep, there you go. And
So-
I know that Green Bay beat the Bears by 1 because of a blocked field goal.
So I will side with you on that. Detroit covers the 7.
So the $2 bet's off now.
It is off, but I'm
Okay.
going to keep it because happy to give you $2.
Well, that's okay. Thank you.
Your mom,
All right.
Larry.
Okay. All right. Well, that wraps up the National Football League, ladies and gentlemen. As we go to break, when we come back, we'll have final thoughts, what Sans Tricks Paper, and Shooters This Day in Sports. Please, as always, follow, like, and subscribe us on the Reality Check. Again, shout out to our good friend Bob Hamer on his birthday and Coastal Title for their love and
And you too,
sponsorship
Ruda.
in us. And Ruda, I hope he makes you dinner. We'll be back in just a minute.
Little Andy Griffin. I can see Opie skipping
The
the rock.
Andy Griffith Show.
Oh yeah,
Starring Andy Griffin. With Ronnie Howard.
as Opie.
Also starring Don Knotts.
The late, great Don Knotts. Welcome back to the Reality Check. It is time for final thoughts. John, I know this audience is dying for your words of wisdom and final thoughts on the day.
Here's Johnny.
I tell you, I said something a few shows back and didn't get as much traction as I thought it would. So in honor of Big H's, Bob Hammer's birthday, I'm going to repeat it. So I ask you all, what is the difference between a bonus and a boner? Anyone? Your wife will blow your bonus. That's for you, Bob. Happy birthday, buddy.
Okay, I don't even know where to go with
That's just stupid.
What sands my paper
Thank you, Trick. Save me. Bail me out over here.
is when people don't have an original thought. And you have to repeat yourself over and over. Much like The View. The woman on there.
I had a funny comment on that, and somebody was telling me.
So was that kind of like your Carol Burnett when you grabbed the air?
And he's like, I gotta send this out, so please do it again.
Okay, well,
somebody in the internet asked me to say it again, so I did. So.
Still with the not having an original thought, it's funny how people at MSNBC and all of a sudden are sucking up to Trump and certain talk shows because their ratings have gone to crap. So they're sucking up to him where before they were calling him Hitler. And it just really sands my paper that you don't stay true to who you are when you have that much conviction on something. You either have conviction or you don't. People can certainly change their mind, but when you call someone Hitler and then you go out of your way to try to get them to be on your show, I have a problem with that. So that's what sands my paper this week.
Well, you mentioned, obviously, that's the Morning Joe show.
Yes.
Went to Mar-a-Lago. Totally agree with that. But the ladies on The View, they have not.
No,
they
sorry,
have doubled.
I got interrupted.
down.
Yes, that's where I was going with it from the standpoint of talking about The View. Is that I don't know if you saw it. I just saw the clip on it that she was so distraught and disappointed that a Republican was found innocent of a crime when she wanted him to be guilty. And all they do is repeat the same thing over. Republicans bad. They're evil. This is a horrible pit. There is nothing positive that comes on that show. And that bothers me.
Yeah, they almost lost Joy today because she almost choked on a pastrami sandwich.
So do you believe in tolerance, my friend?
Well, if you're referring to the side of the aisle that preaches more tolerance, then we need to accept certain things that we don't agree with or goes against our religious backing, and yet they can't accept or tolerate anything, then no. If two people can actually tolerate something, then yes, 100%.
No, what I'm saying is tolerance meaning a difference of opinion.
I think, yes, I will certainly sit down with anyone and talk with them. The problem I have is that usually when you sit down with certain groups of people, they want to go first. And then when you go to retort, they don't want to listen. They storm out and get mad. So that I'm kind of not really answering your question, but I feel like I was tolerant initially, but that side is not.
So
You just don't get it.
So what you're saying is that you are probably, out of everybody in the studio, the most tolerant out of all of us?
I wouldn't say that at all, but I would say I am tolerant, that I will let you say your opinion. It doesn't mean I'll agree with it, but I will listen to your opinion.
Okay.
I won't storm out of the room.
All right. What about like if there's a certain time of night, do you get more tolerant or less tolerant?
Okay. Just say what you're trying to say. I mean, you repeat yourself for Bob Hamer. Just say it.
No,
Johnny,
I'm just trying to start a fight here.
Johnny, are you?
I'm trying to pick a fight here.
All right.
That's
Look,
all right.
My name's not Kelly. I'm not biting. See, I'm tolerant of you not to jump on that bone.
We're not judging on the Tito scale.
I'm trying to like liven this up a little bit.
There's only two things in this world that I can't stand: intolerant people and the Dutch.
Yes, exactly. Great movie line.
Austin Powers for those
Yes,
of you that
his
are playing at home.
dad.
Small hands. Smell like cabbage.
Carney folk.
All right, so we got Sans our paper, shit stirrer over here. Elliot, you did a great job today, man. It's been great to
great
have you in
job, buddy.
studio.
Thank you guys
Great
for
to
having
have
me.
you in studio.
Hopefully you'll have me back.
We'd love to. Yeah, absolutely.
So the boys came over. A couple of the boys came over on Friday night to watch the sham of a fight I have 3 TVs on the living room wall. It's nice being a bachelor. Get to, really live a comfortable life.
You've set up your own sports bar.
Build your own sports bar. Don't have to go anywhere. But I found it is really, really useful in a lot of other situations. So even if you're married, if you have kids, take this piece of advice. When we're all out at a sports bar, we can't hear the games anyway. So when I'm dating somebody, have the girl sit next to me, pour a glass of wine, we watch whatever terrible show she wants to watch. I can still have 2 sports on above it. Don't need the sound. I can watch the Hallmark Channel movies or whatever terrible stuff that she wants to watch. And we're spending time together. When my friend
boy watch.
when my friends come over, their kids are running around and everything else, put on whatever cartoons the kids want. And I can still sit in the same room with them because I still got the games on to be able to sit and watch. And this is why we're not all sitting in different rooms, family time together, be able to tolerate each other. Just have multiple TVs in the same room. Makes everybody happy.
Fair point.
I love it.
Yeah.
Boom. All right. Great job. Shooter, what do we got in this day in sports, my brother?
All right, boys. In 1925, Mr. Scully, our host, you will love this.
He wasn't born then.
Today, in 1925, Red Grange, the Galloping Ghost, or if you'd like, the Wheatman Iceman.
The Wheaton Iceman.
The Wheaton Iceman played his final game for the Illini. And then he immediately went signed for the Bears. And do you guys know who else he played for? Who else did the Red Grange play for 1 year?
Redskins.
Himself.
1 year he played for this team. The Yankees. Yes, he did. All right, moving on.
I got to meet Red Grange in 1983. And it was pretty freaking cool.
Damn.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, but he had to be old as balls.
He was. But God bless him. He was there for our Rose Bowl run.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did he have a 6-shooter on the side?
Considering he played his last game in 925.
Why is nobody named Red anymore?
Right.
I don't know.
All right, moving on.
He rode off on his horse.
In 1973,
The Peacemaker.
God rest his soul, not in the hall, Pete Rose wins his MLB National League MVP with the Reds.
Shooter has a love affair with Pete Rose.
No, I don't at all. I have no loyalty to him or to
Every
Cincinnati
other
Reds,
show?
but I think he should be in the
Pete
hall.
Rose.
Birthdays. 1922, Stan Musial was born, and he would have been 104 today. 1944, Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Earl the Pearl.
He's 80 today. In 1966, your favorite Dallas quarterback, Troy Aikman. He turned 58 today. And in 1969, Ken Griffey Jr. was born. He is 55 today.
Good for Ken.
He's playing in the match tonight, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting Tyson next week.
Yeah. Or Jake Paul.
We have a little trivia today, boys. Name the top 5 top winningest NCAA football coaches.
Bear Bryant.
He's number 3 with 323.
Joe Paterno.
Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden is number 2 with 357.
Paterno.
Paterno, I said.
Joe Paterno is number 1 with 409. You
Way to
missing
go,
2.
Scully.
Eddie Robinson.
Nope.
Saban.
Nick
Robinson's
Saban is number
Rambo.
5 in 297 wins. You're missing 1. He played, I'll give you a hint. He coached at Carlisle, Cornell, Iowa State, Pitt, Stanford, and
Johnny
Temple.
Majors.
Johnny Majors.
He had 314 wins. Pop Warner.
Oh, shit. Come on.
And that's today's history,
Well done.
boys.
Well done, Shoot.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we'll be back next week for a Thanksgiving show a little earlier in the week.
Good.
You guys have the day off on Thursday to be with your families. For you out there in America, follow, like, and subscribe. We love doing what we do here, and hopefully we're making a difference in your life. Be nice to somebody out there, and we'll see you next week on The Reality Check.
The meatloaf!
Good job, boys.